King and Queen of Thailand step from their aircraft at Wellington Airport, history is made. This is the first time New Zealand has had the privilege of welcoming the head of state of one of our Asian neighbours. To greet our royal visitors and to make them feel at home are the Governor-General Viscount Cobham and Viscountess Cobham. Receiving the royal couple is one of the last ceremonies Lord and Lady Cobham perform before leaving New Zealand. It highlights the end of their 5-year stay in the country. The privilege of providing the first guard of honour for His Majesty goes to the smart Army cadets.
Your Majesties, on behalf of the government and people of New Zealand, I extend to Your Majesties a most warm and friendly greeting. Your Majesties come from a country rich in tradition and steeped in a proud and ancient history, to New Zealand, a young country building its society upon the foundations of a heritage in which the cultures of Europe and Polynesia are closely interwoven.
Your Excellency, the Queen and I deeply appreciate your kind words of greetings. The friendly sentiment which the people here have expressed in our regard is most gratifying. We want to express to Your Excellency and through you to the people of New Zealand our heartfelt thanks. It is certainly true that it is only in the recent years that the current of world events has brought our two countries into such close and friendly association.
Ministers of the Crown are presented to King Bhumibol and Queen Sirikit. Diplomats include New Zealand's ambassador to Thailand. Waving Thai flags are a heartwarming start to the tour. By train, plane and bus, Thai students have been gathered up from all over New Zealand to welcome their King and Queen. For all, it's a few moments of home away from home. The next day at Government House, 53 Thai students studying in New Zealand are presented to their Majesties. Mrs. Isara Bhakti, wife of the ambassador, formally presents a Maori carved box from the Thai embassy. An unexpected touch of informality occurs when the King invites the delighted students to gather round for a photograph. Nurses provide a guard of honour at the dental training school in Wellington. Clinics throughout New Zealand are staffed with graduates from these schools. Of particular interest to the royal couple is the fact that 12 Thai nurses trained here are now providing a similar service in their homeland. An exotic look is worn by Wellington's Town Hall for the civic reception. The Mayor, Mr. F.J. Kitts, leads their Majesties into the hall, followed by the Prime Minister and Mrs. Holyoake. After winning the admiration of the packed hall by speaking without notes, King Bhumibol, in return for a present of an oil painting of the city, gives the mayor a silver cigarette box of Thai craftsmanship, inscribed with his personal emblem. After a ceremonial drive through the city streets, His Majesty is met at the War Memorial by the President of the Return Services Association and lays a wreath in the shrine. To the steps of Parliament House is a very short drive. They are met by the Prime Minister and Mrs. Holyoake and escorted into the building for the state luncheon. Other guests will be cabinet ministers, members of Parliament, diplomats and representatives of New Zealand organisations. Both wearing Thailand's highest decoration, the Order of Chakri, King Bhumibol and Queen Sirikit descend the stairway at Government House to attend the royal ball. His Excellency Viscount Cobham wears the Order of St. Michael and St. George. Queen Sirikit and the Governor-General lead the dancing. The next morning they leave Wellington. The Royal New Zealand Air Force carries the royal couple northward, leaving the people of the capital impressed with their charm and sincerity. Below is Wellington City, built around one of the many natural harbours that have contributed so much to the country's development. "300 miles to Tauranga, across the mountainous centre of the North Island and where Mount Ruapehu's snow-covered heights dominate the Tongariro National Park. Beneath its cold, snowy blanket, volcanic Narohoe stokes up a head of steam. Over Taupo, the country's largest lake and the centre of the North Island. Then to Lake Rotorua, fringed with the township and world-famous thermal area. On to the Bay of Plenty's orderly farmlands, from this height not unlike a pattern of Thai paddy fields. Then Tauranga and its landlocked harbour. It's springtime, and trees are decorated with blossom and loaded with fruit as a welcome to the royal visitors. Throughout their tour, their Majesties are accompanied by the Minister of Internal Affairs, Mr. Leon Goetz, who introduces them to the Mayor and Mayoress of Tauranga. From the aerodrome, there's a ceremonial drive to the town. Nearly all Tauranga's 10,000 people have turned out to welcome them. News of their charm and friendliness has preceded them, and everyone wants to see them drive by. By accepting the challenge of a Maori warrior, King Bhumibol honours a traditional Polynesian custom, thereby assuring the challenger that he comes in peace. Tauranga is in happy mood. The royal visit coincides with the annual Orange Festival. Ngāti Hangarau Maoris perform a haka of welcome. Coyly and shyly, 4 little Ngāti Hangarau girls from the Bethlehem Infant School approach the dais with a gift of fruit. On to Rotorua, where in the evening their Majesties attend a traditional Maori concert performed by members of the Arawa tribe. One of the items is a canoe poi. In the morning, the weather mars the royal progress. Heavy rain falls as the cars pass under the memorial arch into the Whakarewarewa village. On the veranda of the meeting house, the King and Queen meet guides and tribal elders. A short drive round to the model pa where the guides are waiting for them again. The model pa or village is an outdoor museum showing Maori architecture and style of living of earlier days. Guide Emily, as she does for so many visitors to Rotorua, explains all this to the King. As they leave, the royal party passes through an archway in the defensive palisades surrounding the village. For the 150-mile road trip from Rotorua to Auckland, it rains and rains. But it doesn't stop the people of Hamilton from turning out to cheer them on their way. In the Auckland Town Hall, Mayor D.M. Robinson escorts the royal visitors onto the stage. Replying to the mayor's Maori greeting, Haere mai, haere mai, haere mai, King Pumipon spoke briefly in the Thai language and then acted as his own interpreter. His charm and wit is endearing him to New Zealanders. In Auckland, the crowds grow bigger than ever, slowing the royal procession as they surge around the cars. Auckland, our largest city, has 450,000 people, about a quarter the population of Bangkok. At the Admiralty steps, Their Majesties board the Commodore's barge for a visit to the HMNZS Philomel, main shore base of the Royal New Zealand Navy. Inspection of the Naval Royal Guard brings to a close the North Island section of the tour, which, even if marred by the weather, lacked nothing in the warmth of its welcome. The people of Christchurch Cathedral City line the streets to greet their royal visitors during the first ceremonial drive in the South Island. Queen Sirikit, who is president of the Thai Red Cross, visits the North Canterbury Centre of the Society and shows great interest in the local branch activities. A Junior Red Cross member presents Her Majesty with 4 Junior Red Cross badges for the royal children. Dominion President of the Society, Brigadier McCormick, presents a crate of medical supplies to the Thai Red Cross. On behalf of her own society, Queen Sirikit gives a silver shield to the New Zealand Red Cross. Whilst the Queen is with the Red Cross, King Pumipon looks around the New Zealand Industries Fair, where he expresses surprise at the range of New Zealand products. At a pottery exhibit, when asked if he would accept a gift of a dinner set with a fern leaf pattern, the King replied he would like something more topical, an elephant shaking hands with a kiwi. Later, the King made a purchase of a jet boat for his personal use in Thailand. Between Christchurch and Dunedin, the royal couple see more New Zealand scenery as the aircraft flies over the Canterbury Plains and past the rugged snow-draped Alps. Dunedin prepares to provide the royal visitors with a typically New Zealand entertainment, a rugby match at Carisbrook Park where Wellington plays Otago. The King, accompanied by Otago Rugby Union President C.K. Saxton, meets the players. Queen Sirikit is kept well informed by Mr. T.K. Saidi, Mayor of Dunedin. A nice try by Otago. The home team wins 17-9 and the crowd stream onto the field to get a closer glimpse of their majesties as they leave the ground. In the evening, their majesties leave their hotel and drive to a civic reception in Dunedin's town hall. The King makes another witty speech, this time modestly disowning some of the virtues attributed to him. New Zealanders warm to this informality and also to his beautiful and charming Queen. With her wonderful dress sense, she graces every occasion. The next morning, their Majesties give a friendly wave to the people of Dunedin before leaving for Christchurch to fly to Australia. Christchurch Airport takes on an air of pageantry as New Zealanders gather to wish Godspeed to their royal guests, who in a short 9-day tour have endeared themselves to so many with their obvious sincerity and charm. The escorting minister, Mr. Leon Gertz, wishes them goodbye, and the Prime Minister, in the absence of the Governor-General, who is indisposed, conveys New Zealand's regrets at their departure. In a world of shrinking distances and a world in need of neighbourliness, King Pumipon and Queen Sirikit leave New Zealand with a greater understanding of our country, and through their gentle sincerity leave New Zealanders with a fuller understanding of their neighbour, Thailand.